What's up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling like the SPY, like the Qs, like Jerome Powell, like the Fed. Hope you guys are feeling absolutely terrific and ready to go. We got Alan House. Good morning to you. We got Albert. Good morning. Art, Bill, Brian, Julie, Jason. Good morning to Jay, Joe, Lenandro is in the house. Good morning to you, Lauren, Miguel, Randy, Rick, Tim. Good morning to Win in the house, ready to rock. Honey Roy and YouTube land. All my lurkers in YouTube that are not sitting there commenting. It's okay. I still love you, regardless. It's all good. Just hit that like and subscribe button. So we got the market gapping up off the backs of actually kind of almost double whammy, depending on the sector you're in, but yeah, off the backs of Jerome Powell, the Fed, we got the zero rate decrease or increase. So we left rates completely flat. And then we had pretty much Jerome Powell out there just skipping and dancing around like he's in the Wizard of Oz. Pretty much. He was all loving it out there yesterday. So full showtime for Jerome Powell. Yeah, some jokes he was cracking. He was loving life. He was doing good. Good for Jerome Powell. Biggest thing in the meeting is, well, two things. One, as soon as the market, as soon as he said the words that we are still doing 3 rate cuts this year, market loved it. So that probably puts a rate cut on the table for June, September, and I would assume December as well. But uh, three rate cuts going forward for this year. The market was a little skeptical on it because we did have a little bit of hot CPI data come in last 2 months, 3 months. And yeah, so I don't know what else holds this market back. Yeah, Tim says Munster Gap, MU. I like that. Yeah, then you had MU report. And again, is the AI story over? Another is it cooling down? Did it go too much? MU comes out, goes, no, it's a real story. It's really happening. So then you got the Jerome Powell news, you got the Fed coming out, you got interest rates going back to where people thought. Nothing is everything that we thought we knew, we know nothing. We know nothing. We were just getting shaken out for zero reason, and we are still looking bullish. That being said, we do have a gap up today. No real resistance ahead of us. Retest gap. There is and should be a bunch of people profitable. Again, I'm going back to if this retest, it is a retest gap, and I would assume that we should retest. It gets wonky when we hit these all-time highs, so I'm prepared to go either way on this move. I would prefer, though, for some kind of a pullback. Pullback could get a little nasty, and it doesn't have to, again, it doesn't have to happen today. I think at some point, the next new level we are looking for big support on, probably about 516.05. Even if this does retest today, which there's a possibility it doesn't, it's 2024 and there's not a lot of reason. In fact, there was probably some people selling ahead of the Fed, just maybe on those nerves. We could see a gap like this, kind of just wake up. This gap's a little bit different though today, right? So this gap we broke out. There was already people sitting here profitable for this gap. This one here we didn't break out ahead of time. Let me see if I go back and find another one that kind of looks similar, so we have something to go off of. Here's one where even that's an inside day right before it, but that one we kind of broke out. We still have this wide open gap at 430, 439. At this point, that's crazy, but wide open gap. We could do something like this. Still a little bit different than today's gap, and we were kind of sinking, and that was a decent gap over a bunch of pivots too. So I don't know. I'd have to stay with consistency and just go with what I would like to see happen. I think that would make it actually a little easier to trade than just open up and run bullish. But that could be the scenario too. I'm not going to put it past this market. However, I would prefer to see a retest at least to 520.44, and a much better retest. I don't think this one comes today. I just don't see why would we get it. But 516.77, somewhere in that zone would be my retest spots for the SPY. Otherwise, buy high, sell higher. That's the motto of the year. I don't know. It's very once you put one of those bumper stickers on your car, it's very tough to get them off. You got to get some special chemicals. It's a whole thing. Q still not at the all-time high, so this would give me a little bit of more reason, I think, for that slight little pullback at open. If we're gonna get the Qs to drop, so Qs are not quite all-time highs yet. We'd have to get a little bit higher for that, and still 22 minutes till open. So 448.69, so 448.70, somewhere around that zone, and that would be all-time highs for the Qs. So we're still inside this candle, and again, this would make sense that it is a retest gap. I don't think we get back to retest this candle, so I'm going to throw that same sentiment on the SPY. 445.98, come back a little bit, test that previous support. That would make sense. So we might not be looking for full gap fills today, but a little bit of pullbacks, and then I think we do continue bullish. And if today is all red, today is just a sell-off day. Everybody wants to lock profits. I think it will just be that, just profit taking and probably some buy opportunities out there. But we'll see. See how the day closes. If there's anything fundamentally changing, I just haven't seen anything yet, except for the feeling of like maybe we should pull back. I don't know. I don't know. Jerome Powell disagrees with me, so that's all. That's okay. We got TLT, pretty big move yesterday, back and forth, ended with a nice little high wave candle, slightly above, still inside day of yesterday, and we are above all those moving averages. So we have a decent support still being built, but a really good resistance somewhere around 93.64 with some more moving averages coming in. So we'll see how that wants to play out. We'll go to IWM, and if you guys got tickers you want to take a look at, MU, we will definitely take a look at as well. Joe Watkins from Korea. What's up, Joe? How are you? Appreciate you traveling all the way here. Appreciate the traveling. I know traveling is not easy. All right, we got IWM. Still has a little resistance right above us. Tad resistance 207.06, something like that. We hit that perfectly yesterday, so if we can continue some bullish, again, maybe the support, it's not far away. 206.20, so small tad little pullback. I'm not expecting anything too big. If we do break that, we still got a monster of a support. 205.14. So that looks good. We'll go to MU, which we should have just held the trade overnight. I gotta stop paying my internet bills. I gotta stop. Me paying the internet bills cost me so much money. But this was the trade we did yesterday, and it still ran to targets. So we weren't crazy trying to get the 3 R's on it, but we had to take the chance. We got in somewhere about here on one of these little breakouts of the pivots. We threw the 3 R target up there at 95.86. It didn't. We got our stops up into the profit, so we made money regardless, which is fine. But it didn't give me real spots to move my stop after we got up here, and it was like, oh, we're just hanging out the highs of the day. We just need that one break from there. They took the roller coaster way, the scenic route, but beautiful double bottom. If anybody caught that later in the day, nice little pop, got back into that resistance, and then finally, especially with the help of the Fed, we got right through targets, which would have been 3 R's. So we had to hang in for it. But then after that, of course, we get the earnings that come out. I got to switch it to a daily just so we can get there quicker. That's how big the gap is. And it would have been an absolute beast. Still got to go a little further, huh? So crazy gap on MU. Again, earnings were very good. They were expected to have a loss, and they came in. They beat pretty handily, and they made a lot of comments to everything AI related. So I don't know if I would touch MU up here. Yeah, 266% beat after 100. Why count? You're just like, okay, yeah, we did pretty good. They should just sum it up like that. We had a good time. So I don't know if I want to touch MU up here. If anything, I would again want to say it's a fade. It's very tough to go long up here. I I'm not shocked in the least if this thing is a big green candle at the end of the day. I'm not shocked. I think, and I wasn't expecting this because we're at the tail end. Uh, Short is tough too. Like the short is how I would lean on this one if I had to play it. I think I would have to look for that fade. But like Miguel said, 266 beat. You caught a lot of bears off guard with that. That's a lot better than expected. And we could stay up in this range for a while. I don't know that this is a full-on retest. I don't think so. I think we have a lot of room in each direction. So it's a coin toss if you do want to play it. And for me, yeah, I'd have to assume somebody might want to take profits. This market doesn't really give me that confidence of like, hey, I made money, let's lock it in. It's like, hey, I made money and let's try to make more. Let's might as well keep holding. So I don't know how many people are even selling up here, to be honest. But if I had to play it, I think I'd have to go in the short direction. The entire market's bullish. MU had great earnings yesterday. I don't know. I don't know what my reason would be except for just trying to help people take their profits. That would be about it. But what I did not think was going to happen was I did not think AMD was going to. I mean, MU was going to provide any sympathies because we're at the tail end of earnings, right? So we've. I was like, at this point, the companies that are moving, they've already reported. Their MU, I would assume, could move by itself. But all because of what they were saying during the conference of AI is a real thing. It's we're seeing increased demand. Everything looks good. I think we are getting some sympathy on AMD. I haven't checked out SMCI, but maybe Nvidia as well. AMD is not at all-time highs. It's already had a good pullback. It's got a great looking hammer yesterday. And then we got some support. I almost rather play AMD today in attempt for sympathy on MU, especially if MU is not going to retest whatsoever. I got room on AMD up until 190, 105. Obviously, if anything crazy happens, it goes further. Great. I could use a little bit of a pullback. So maybe that opening candle on MU, slight little pullback, 182.63, 182 even, somewhere in that zone would be great. But I think we could get a sympathy out of this one because it's pulled back. It was strong. It's had a good movement, and we're well off the highs on this one. Good hammer, great location, right off support. So I think I might be leaning toward to play AMD as a sympathy as opposed to just like I hope people sell Nvidia and try to short it, or man, everything is bullish and let's just bring MU higher. I think we might have a little bit more room or follow through maybe on AMD. Nvidia would be another one. Nothing really holding it back. Crazy gap actually. So still a retest gap from yesterday. Today feels like a Friday to me. I don't know. I was about to say Thursday, but I don't know. I don't know. Otherwise, this is a retest gap. You're still kind of that was inside day. We hung out in this range. I would call this more of a gap and go than anything. But we are at the higher end range of this. What I like the most about Nvidia, so obviously we're getting a little bit closer to the all-time highs. We're not there yet, but this is a good gap past that little VPOC right over here. So let's see how we handle that. A pullback into like 1949. See if we want to get some kind of high wave candle. But if we make a break on it, there's not a lot stopping us until 951.27, and it's not volume. It's just that's just where that candle opened, and then the highs get us back to 975.10. So Nvidia has a lot of room on it. So if we're gonna play something where okay, we're not at all-time highs. We have a lot of room to run, really, without anything holding us back. Nvidia would be the play. AMD's got a little bit more to hold us back, but it's a little bit further on that dip. So I think those two would be decent. Let's check out SMCI. Could be another good one. Could be another good one. Again, they have had now 2 rounds, very sneakily, but 2 rounds of some fundraising and dilution. A little bit more of a black cloud on them, I think. However, I 100% agree if MU can push this entire sector up yet again, I don't see why we can't get to 979.97. The next target from there, probably where I'll be at, is about 995.95. Sounds like I was just selling a car or something. I'm selling a TV. Get your 4K TV. It's curved. This one's in the shape of a triangle. 995.95. Just tell me it's 1,000. Just we all know. We all know. But what's up, Brock? But yeah, so again, this one also has a good range on it. We have a lot of support below us. SMCI would have to be on my list for today as well. So I'm going to keep that up there. SMCI could get a little crazy. So, I mean, again, even NVIDIA, make sure you have some wide spreads on both of them, but they both have a lot of room to run. So I wouldn't mind playing this. This one, I would like to see a little pullback at open as well. Maybe like 916.03. Something to that extent. 903.24. Maybe. But if we get a high wave candle on SMCI, AMD, NVIDIA, I'd consider MU, but I'm just not as comfortable with that. I mean, in my lifetime, I've seen a bunch of companies go to all-time highs, but there's always a lot more that are just normal trading, like on a daily basis. So I don't know. All right, we got a couple of stocks in there. Marvell, ON, TSM. Yeah, those could all be sympathies as well. Taiwan Semiconductor, nice little gap up there. This one does have a little resistance ahead of us. You also do have the Asian factor on this one. Anytime MU reports, anytime NVIDIA reports, AMD reports, these guys should benefit from it. But you do have that one little outside element, and then you also got resistance on this 144.06. If that could break, then you got a decent trade up to like 147.30. So not bad there. Um, and we're kind of running into a decent amount of resistance in here, at least chop. And this is a retest gap too, so we're at support. If things get crazy, and it would have to probably get really crazy, but that could take us to $80.23. Otherwise, this should be a retest, I would assume. At least a better spot. It's almost that is a 3-bar reversal. So any kind of retest is a 75.47. I think there's some bulls waiting there to buy it up. Easy stop placement would be 72.69, and see if we go from there. We got Marvell. Nope, that's Marvy. Marvy. Uh, Gene B says, "Can you do a video on volume?" I could, and I have no problem doing it. But Jeremy just did an awesome one on volume. So yeah, if you go to the Real Life Trading YouTube page, just type in Real Life Trading, or just go to YouTube and type in Real Life Trading volume, and you should be able to find a whole slew of videos. And if you can't find it, let me know. I'll gladly put one together. No problem. Marvell. So there's a nice little gap up. One little resistance ahead of us. If we could break that, and we got a couple moving averages coming in. Uh, but Marvell, yeah, I don't mind this one. You are at support on the daily, so that looks good. Nice little high wave candle we broke out of. Let's scoot this one up a little bit higher on the list. Let's get it underneath NVIDIA. If I could break that one little target, the next little spot would take us up to about 69.75. And then after that, if things get crazy, 71.49. I don't know if things get crazy. Usually after we have a big day, uh, we usually have some kind of rest inside day, slight little pullback. And as soon as I say that, I remind myself, it is still 2024. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I I could only go off of what has the higher probability rather than why I think to famous last words are like this time it's different. This time we open and we run to the moon and we skip through the meadows just smelling the dandelions. We're just bullish. J&J. So J&J is at a really good support. It's got a hold. Um If it doesn't, it probably comes down to 154.59, something to that extent. But yeah, J&J really got a hold of support. Not a horrible look for long term here. Not horrible. I think we drew out a few lines before where we'd like to see it at. So, almost. I mean, what I would like to happen in this one. I don't know if it does. If we do actually break down, and then we come all the way back down to like this 52.36 zone, 52.50, and then we actually start curving from there because that would look like a mean inverted head and shoulders. So obviously no confirmation on this, but yeah, there's definitely a spot the Bulls have to hold, and you do have a little indecision if they're going to try to make that work. So not a bad spot to take a stab at it. You do have a very noticeable resistance above us too, so somewhere around 162.40. So I don't want to go out of pocket, and this is not the hill I'm going to die on and say we're definitely breaking through this. So if you are taking it, it's probably going to be a swing trade, unless of course you like Johnson Johnson for the long term. I do have some, but much lower. Um, so I'd probably be looking into kind of some of those moving averages. That's also probably about a 50% retracement. This is a lot of selling really quick. So even dead cat bounce gets us into maybe like a 159.32 on a swing. But for a day trade, we got that high wave down there. The one good thing I would say is if we want to put, if we wanted to flip a coin but cheat when we flip it, I would say I'm going to flip it to the bullish side of things. Just because we have good support, I could make a good case. Even if I'm throwing my stops low of the day from yesterday, I'd be comfortable with that. And it really shouldn't break. If this thing does want to stay bullish, it really shouldn't break this 155.70 zone. If it does, we start to really give up a lot. Here's that last little volume zone that we've already hit into. We stayed above it yesterday, but now it's a lot easier to break through. So probably my guess is it's a little bit oversold. Has to get back into those moving averages, and we are technically above yesterday's VPOC. So I would lean a little bit bullish, but you are still inside of a nice high wave candle. Might not do much. Miguel says, "What's going on in the marijuana market? Are you trying to buy right now? You trying to? Are you a customer or what are you?" Apparently, it's hot right now. Even in Canada, marijuana is hot and has been beaten down for years. That's a good question. Um, my question is, and this is why I like DraftKings. By the way, DraftKings looked like a great breakout yesterday. This is why I like DraftKings over weed stocks because if I'm like, hey, you know what? I think the New York Giants are going to win the Super Bowl this year, so I'm going to make a crazy bet, and I'm going to bet the Giants are going to win. I can't just bet with myself and bet myself $100 because I'll never win or lose anything. That's it. If I'm like, hey, yeah, I would like some marijuana, I could actually just grow it in my own house, especially if that's legal and I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything, but I could just grow my own. So as much as there's the legal businesses, like when it's not legal, there's a little bit more risk to do it, right? If it is legal, it's a plant and you could just grow it yourself. So now it's like legal, but there's potentially more competition from individual people just growing it themselves. And yes, there's obviously licensing and stuff, but realistically, yeah. So that's my biggest thing is like, yeah, it's a the legalization of it helps, I think, a lot of things, mostly the states, because then you could just get more taxes. But if I really wanted to, can I just grow it myself? MU got upgraded to $140. Yeah, bullish on chips. It's a lot of work. Yeah, but I've known a lot of participants in that field before in my life. And in some areas they're really good slackers. Like very good slack like they don't care about but then in that industry like well they care about that a lot. Yeah. They'll put the work in. They'll put the work in. The quality will not be there. There's a lot of science behind growing it. Lucian, I'm gonna read your biography. I feel like you you got a lot to tell me right now, Lucian. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? We got Apple, a little bit of a gap up. See if we can get a small little pullback on Apple. It was a good day on Apple yesterday. It is actually gapping down. I think they have some more lawsuits. Something about um holding back other apps on their platform or not like really pushing them. So this way you buy like their Apple stuff. So they have a little bit of gap down. Looks different than the market, but again, we're still bullish. I don't know how much those cases are really going to play out to things, but 176.56 would be my support. If we start to lose that, we got one more at 176.13, and then a better target to the short. I don't think we do anything too crazy, but 174.62. Otherwise, if you get a little bounce off that support, you could look for about 179.91. Put it way up. We have numbers at 9:45. We got PMI. Is PMI going to crush our dreams. Sympathy play is Cheetos. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. What about Hershey's? Apple getting sued, so say yeah, everybody sues Apple. That's I, they got a pretty good legal team, I would imagine though. We got J&J, Apple, we got Twilio. Shopify, I think, is one to watch today too, just to see if we get any continuation on Shopify. DraftKings, the same thing. Twilio, a SoFi is actually popping or was before too. That's a decent one to watch too. We have big resistance on Twilio, 63.10. See if we get a little, and we are opening to this mini resistance here. See if we get a little pullback into, I would put a gander out there to say 61.95, but probably tight range in this zone. And we do have some of those moving averages coming in. Otherwise, this is our really second attempt into that resistance. One of these days, maybe it's today, I don't think so, but maybe one of those days, we get that break of 63.25 and you got that gap fill on your hands. But everybody out there in YouTube land, I appreciate you joining us each and every day. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Share it with a friend if you feel like that's a good thing to do. Otherwise, I'll just do this again tomorrow for you guys. I'll see